Tell me, where did the name Camp Abercorn come from?
Well, it is a street that runs through Savannah, Georgia.
Ah.
So Meg and I
is
went to
that
school
right?
together.
Ah.
It's the main road that sort of connects the
Ah,
historic
yeah.
district to the south side
Ah.
in Savannah.
Now, what about the Compass Guides, which is your parallel version of the Boy Scouts? Where did that come from?
That has more meaning, I think. So we needed a word that was like scout. You know, you can be a scout, you can go scouting. You know, adult scouts are called scouters. And for us, guide was the best synonym because you can go guiding, you can be a guide. Adults could be guiders. And so guide came pretty easily. And then the compass was, you know, we went through loads and loads of ideas, I guess. And for us, like, if you have a compass, then you can find your way.
I think it's a great name. Compass Guides is a great name. Has a great ring to it, you know?
Yeah, well, there's that too. And then, you know, for me, the Boy Scouts was all about finding my way, you know, having a moral compass, and then the social part, like the Boy Scouts, I think, are struggling with their moral compass. They've got some serious sort of drama internally. You can be a gay youth as of last year in the Boy Scouts, but you cannot be a gay adult leader.
Right.
So I'm over 18, and I'm not allowed to be an adult leader. For me, it's a big shame that I can't still be involved, because I want to be able to give back to the organization that I feel gave me so much. And so I thought that if I could show an organization, you know, that was like the Boy Scouts, that sort of changes through time in a positive way, then perhaps I could influence some social awareness.
So you had a real message, or at least
and
something you wanted, a point of view you wanted to get out.
It's a point of view, and I'd hate to think of it as like a strictly political gay piece, or as a strictly, you know, we want it to be a good show. Ultimately, we have hopefully compelling characters, and we want to make a show that we would want to see.
Tell me a little bit, Jeff, about your experience in the Boy Scouts and what you learned and what it meant to you. The real Boy Scout.
Okay, so I was a Boy Scout for 16 years. I worked on 3 different camp staffs. I eventually was like a lodge chief, which is the sort of highest position in their National Honor Society for 2 years in a row. And it was really just like everything in my life was Boy Scout related until all of a sudden it wasn't anymore.
So was there any sort of a crisis for you, or a moral crisis, when with the whole Boy Scout thing of no gay scoutmasters, or where that became a real issue? Was that?
Well, the first ruling, I think, was like in the 90s or something, and so for the longest time it was just gays aren't allowed. And so when I was a Boy Scout, it was, you know, if I came out, I couldn't be a Boy Scout. And for me, it was a decision personally, like, I can't be a part of this organization, even though I love it and I love what it gave to me, because of this thing. And so I just cut ties at 19.
Powerful moment, right? Here's who I really am. I love this group, and now they're telling me I can't be part of it because of who I really am.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Yeah. What is the intent of Camp Abercorn?
It sounds corny, but I want to make the Boy Scouts cool again.
That doesn't sound corny at all.
I mean,
that's great.
In the 50s and 60s, you know, everybody wanted to be a Boy Scout. They were sort of the role models of society. And I think over the years, it's sort of, now they've become this little separate side group. And you know, their conservative beliefs are making them even more segregated. So the Boy Scouts are ahead of their time in many ways. They've been environmentalists since long before it was cool. I mean, it's the Green Initiative and everything that's happening.
I never even thought about that.
Now, it's been a Boy Scout motto, you know, from the very beginning, and also there's, you know, like extreme adventurism. There's Boy Scouts have always been about, you know, mountain biking and climbing, and then there's also the idea of, you know, connecting with nature and unplugging. So if you're a kid who's born today, you're basically born with a cell phone.
Right.
And for me, I think it was really important to have some time away from technology and from, you know, look at stars rather than stare at a screen.
What about the kind of virtues that the Boy Scouts inculcate into you? I mean, do you feel, Jeff, like I know from working with you, that you're really self-motivated, you're disciplined, you deliver, you know, when you say, you know, you're a straight shooter? Did that ethic kind of come from the Boy Scouts for you?
Yeah, definitely. The National Honor Society is called the Order of the Arrow, and to become a member, you have to go through an ordeal ceremony where you have to do 24 hours of silent labor. So you are not allowed to talk, and you eat very little food, and you do manual labor for an entire day. And that's just like one little piece of what the Boy Scouts is a really incredibly rigid work ethic, and so many of the Boy Scouts' oath and law are very positive, and I still live by them.
Take me home to Camp
The scariest part is that we cast Brad Leland, who's from Friday Night Lights. He's the guy that we had his photo from the beginning of, this is what the guy should be like. It was my first day directing, basically, and I was directing my dream cast
you're
member.
learning by doing.